My name is Hannah and I am here to review my 10th trip with EF Ultimate Break, which was the Iceland Summer Escape trip. EF Ultimate Break is a travel company that caters to group travel. It serves anyone from ages 18 to 35 looking to go anywhere in the world. They make it so easy for you because they plan absolutely everything. You can choose whether or not you'd like to book flights with them or book flights yourself, but then everything else on tour is handled by EF. Full disclosure, I am an ambassador for EF because I love traveling with them so much. I signed up to be one after my first trip about 4 years ago and have loved it ever since. What that means is I have a code for you to get $100 off your next trip. This is combinable with a sale, and this is for first travelers only. So if you've already been on an EF trip, you cannot use my code. You can use code UAHannah100 for $100 off your next trip. You have to activate it by using the link in the description of this video and then typing in the code. Otherwise, the code itself will not work. So let's get into reviewing Iceland. As of June 2025, when this video is being made, there are a few different Iceland tours. It all depends on what season you'd like to go in. We chose the summer one just because of the fair weather, maximizing the time that daylight is out and the green scenery. But there's also the winter tour where you will likely get to see the northern lights and see the true weather when it's snowy and cold within Iceland. The trip itself was technically 6 days, 2 of those being travel days. So we were there for 4 full days, and I'll run you through the itinerary next. When we first got there, our flight path was Indianapolis, Chicago, Montreal to Reykjavik. A lot of people either had a direct flight from the East Coast or at least one connection. On the way home, we went from Reykjavik down to Toronto and then Toronto back to Indianapolis, so a little bit quicker there. We did have EF book our flights, but I know a lot of people, about half of the group, there was 27 of us on this tour, had their own flights booked. On day 1 of the trip is technically your travel day. The chances are you are going to take a red-eye flight to Reykjavik overnight to land in the morning. We landed about 8 a.m. We had about 12 of us in the group that were on that flight, and because we booked the flights through EF, they provide transportation to and from the airport. So we got picked up at the airport. We could not check into the hotel until 3 p.m. so we just had to leave our stuff in a storage room. The biggest suggestion I would have here is just make sure you're either wearing what you want or have it really accessible, because you literally are just throwing something in the storage room and quickly going out to a walking tour around Reykjavik. We only had about 30 to 45 minutes to change, get ready for the day, as we'd be out exploring until the room was ready for check-in. After quickly getting ready, the tour director got the whole group of us ready to go for a downtown tour of Reykjavik. We walked around for about an hour and a half. He gave us suggestions on the way. We saw things like the beautiful church right in the city center. We got to taste the famous hot dogs, and then just got to walk around. Some people went to certain museums, some people went by the water, and then by that time we were really tired, so we actually came right back to the hotel in the check-in time, got to our room, and actually just took a nap until dinner. Had a really good selection of a fish soup and a fish dish with some veggies and an included drink. I tried an Icelandic beer, which was fabulous. By that time, again, we were just really tired from traveling all night and all day, so we came back to the hotel and just crashed out and got ready for day 3. On day 3 of the trip was all about the Golden Circle. So we got to leave the hotel a little bit around 8 a.m. Breakfast in the hotel, which was really yummy every morning. It was a buffet. After we got on the bus, we took about an hour and a half drive to the first stop, which was Thingvellir National Park. It was absolutely stunning, so beautiful. The pictures and videos just don't even do it justice. This was a humongous national park. When you drive up on it, you really don't even know what you're pulling into. And then as soon as you walk down the hill, it is just stunning. So much water, so many trees, the mountains in the background. It's unbelievable. Then after walking around and working up your appetite, we actually stopped at a local tomato farm. So delicious. I didn't think anything of tomato soup and bread. I had heard it was amazing, but by the time we got there, got a nice tour and learned that because tomatoes are about 90% water, it really depends on the water you're putting into the tomato. And because Iceland's water is just like flawless, so crisp and clean, makes the tomatoes just so much better. So you could really tell that in the tomato soup. They had fresh bread, and then we got to try some of the cherry tomatoes and just hear a little bit more about the whole process. And then after lunch, we took another drive to see some geysers. And then the last stop was an incredible waterfalls, the Gullfoss waterfall. And oh my gosh, I could have stayed there for hours. Basically climb up to go see this waterfall from a distance, and then you go walk down by it. I was really curious about the waterfalls and how wet I would get. This day, actually, you don't get as soaked as tomorrow, which I'll talk about. You just can wear water resistant pants. You don't have to wear waterproof, but I will say walking back, it drizzled a little bit because Iceland's weather is so unpredictable. I got a little wet, but nothing soaked. Even just my water resistant stuff kept me dry. And it was time to go back to the hotel, and then you had a free evening. On this trip, you do have a couple free evenings, which is really nice. So on this free evening, we decided to do a dinner. A lot of people either went horseback riding or went to a glacier or went whale watching. We decided to just keep it low key. Went to a place called Rock. It was incredible. It was right near the church, right around the corner. I chose this place because it had amazing reviews and it had a really cool tasting menu. They're known for their small plates, and the price point, it was a little pricier. Iceland in general is just pretty expensive, but the tasting menu was so delicious. We got to have some authentic Icelandic food like reindeer, which was not good, but worth the try, and some Icelandic char and some good meat and fish and veggies. It was just absolutely incredible. I would highly recommend this place if you're looking for something nice. After that, we actually came back and again, just tried to get as much rest as we could because we knew the next couple of days would be jam-packed. Okay, so we were already on day 4 of the trip, which was all about the South Coast. Got on the bus around 8 to 9 a.m., somewhere in there, and we took a 2.5-hour ride to our first stop, which was an incredible waterfall yet again. This one you saw from a distance, so you really didn't get as soaked as the one that I'm going to talk about a little bit later, but I would still suggest waterproof pants and jackets today because it really was a day of just getting wet the entire day. Not water resistant, waterproof is the key. We saw the first waterfall and we got back on the bus because we were going to take another hour and a half drive-ish to the black sand beaches down in Vik. This was incredible because some of the Game of Thrones scenes were filmed here. It just is really eerie, dark, interesting kind of beach. It is so beautiful because of the rock formations and everything around it, but you have to be so careful. They are not joking when they say the waves are incredibly powerful. You can't even barely get close to the water. They say if you even get close, the water can rush in and it can take you and you will not survive it. A lot of words that came to my mind when I talked about Iceland was like otherworldly, just because it was a black sand beach, this beautiful ocean view with these incredible dark rocks behind you and some greenery. I can't even describe it. After that, we had about an hour of free time in Vik to get food. The good thing was there was a lot of different lunch places there that were really quick. We quickly went into one of the local restaurants there. It was a huge shopping center too, so you could get snacks, you can get clothing, anything you're needing during the day. We got a bowl of pasta and then a sandwich to go. We had to be back on the bus within an hour. And then we went to our next stop, which was probably my favorite. It was a very powerful waterfall that I'm talking about wearing your waterproof stuff is going to be very important for. Usually before this waterfall, you actually go get to see a glacier. Unfortunately, our bus was having some issues, so we could not see that glacier. So instead, we just went straight to the last waterfall to save us some time because a lot of us had excursions planned at a certain time in the evening. The waterfall is something that, again, you've never seen before, and the coolest part is you get to walk behind it. So I tried to document it as much as we could because we got absolutely soaked. It was like being a kid again and just playing in a big puddle of water. After that waterfall, got back on the bus. Another suggestion would be either bringing like a trash bag, plastic bag, something. You're gonna want to take all that wet stuff off because you've got about a 2.5-hour drive back to the hotel in Reykjavik. As soon as we got back, we had a very quick dinner and then we were gonna go to our next excursion. One of the best parts about the hotel that EF books for you down in Reykjavik is right next to a famous food hall that has all these different options and it's really quick. It's literally like a 5-minute walk from the hotel. Hurried back, got some food. This evening we got pizza and we got ready to go to the Sky Lagoon. You get there and you can choose whether to do a private changing room and you pay about $30 per person extra to do this, or there's like a group changing room that you can do as well. You still get a little bit of privacy there with your own locker and everything, but it is more group centered, where the other one is more private, where you get your own shower. We chose the one where we get our own shower and our own locker room. And then as soon as we got in there, it was time to hop into the lagoon. It was just a naturally heated, basically big hot tub, if you will, overlooking the ocean. And if you're gonna go to Iceland, you must add this to your list. You've probably heard of the Blue Lagoon, but definitely add Sky Lagoon as well because it's just the most luxurious experience. Then you do, in your package comes with the 7-step ritual, very spa-like. So the suggestion is to spend a little bit of time in the warm lagoon at first, warm up your body, and then the steps from there is actually going straight into a cold plunge. And It was so cold. It was like ice. It like burned you. You get in the cold plunge really quickly, you get out, and then you go right into a sauna. The view's unreal. Spend a little bit of time in the sauna, get out, and then you're able to go to a cold misting station. From there, you get to walk in and you do a sugar scrub on your body. From there, you walk into a steam room where it just soaks in your body. It feels so good. After that, you go wash it off in a kind of lukewarm shower. And then from there, your last step is taking an elixir shot, which was of crowberry, kind of like a cranberry. After that, you are back in the lagoon to just relax and just almost feel like you just got a big spa experience, and then you get to go in a big hot tub. I mean, who wouldn't want to do that? After that, we just spent about 2 hours total on that whole excursion. So after the 7 steps, we had about another hour. You have unlimited time at the Sky Lagoon to go do whatever you want, and it closed about 11 p.m. in the summer when we went. After that, we just went back to the hotel and went to bed for our next day. And just like that is on to the last day of the tour, which is day 5, and you got to basically have a entirely free morning to do what you want. In the evening, you were gonna go to Blue Lagoon, which was included in EF's itinerary. So in the morning, a lot of people did different things, but we got up early. We went to the famous Broad & Co. for the cinnamon rolls, and we walked over to do a whale watching tour. We met at the pier at 9 a.m. It was a 3-hour tour. It was about $100 per person, and they just take you out into the ocean and go whale watching. We chose the experience where it was on a big boat. There is another option to go on a smaller boat where you almost feel like you're in the water. We went on the one where you would see whales and possibly puffins if we did have time. We saw a few different whales. It was really neat, kind of chilly. It was just an authentic Icelandic experience. We did not see any puffins, but the tour guide did a really great job of pointing out the different whales we were seeing, and it was very interactive. And after that, again, we went back to that food hall for a very quick lunch, because after that we had only about an hour before our next excursion, which was the Blue Lagoon. As soon as we got there, we had about 2.5 hours of time in this lagoon, very similar to Sky Lagoon, where it's just a big hot tub geothermal pool. And this one was so much different. It was by a lava field, and while we were there, you can get a face mask, and you can actually get 2 drinks while you're there, which is included in your package. After that, it was on our way to go to the farewell dinner. We had about an hour to come back to the hotel, change, get ready, and then go to dinner. An appetizer, entree, and then a cheesecake for dessert. At that time, you had the free evening if you'd like, so we actually did 2 different stops. We did an ice bar, which was a really funny experience. You went down, it was about 23 degrees. They gave you a poncho and gloves, and you took an ice shot, got a drink there. It was about $40 per person. And then we went to the famous bookstore bar. There's a live band playing every night, and it stays open pretty late. And so we were out till about 10:30 p.m. We had a very early morning flight, so we just wanted to get back and chill. And then the last day was our flight home. If you have been looking into Iceland, you probably hear that things are very expensive, and I always heard that, but I didn't know exactly what that meant. We're talking probably $35 at the minimum per person per meal to about $75 anywhere in between every single meal. Not only are drinks, I mean, at least probably the cheapest I saw was $15, but most of them were like in the $20 to $30 range. Lagoons were at least $100 each. Every excursion felt like it was at least $100. That's what people mean when things are very expensive in Iceland. We did not use cash at all this entire trip. I know you're thinking for a tip of the tour director, he actually had a PayPal. My biggest packing tips would be to bring some nice hiking boots. I really only brought tennis shoes that I traveled on the airport with, and I wore those around most days. And then I also was wearing my hiking boots during most of the days as well. I only did a carry-on for this trip just because it was so short and we had a few connections. I didn't want to risk losing my bag. I really only brought 1 rain jacket, 1 puffer jacket, water resistant and waterproof pants, a lot of leggings, and a lot of layers. When they say layer up, they're not joking. I wore a thermal underwear, shirt, and pants every single day under everything, and then I would either wear like a sweatshirt or a long sleeve over that, and then either a puffer jacket or a vest, and then pants to go over every single day. That was my outfit. In the evenings, there's no need to look cute or have a dress or any dress up. I wore one sweater at the very end for the farewell dinner, but honestly, Iceland is so casual. You'll see everyone walking around in a lot of different athletic wear. They're either coming from all day exploring, or the weather's so cold that you don't want to just wear a dress or heels or anything. You want to stay warm, so layers are key. That is it for the Iceland Summer Escape tour. I really appreciate you taking the time to watch. Again, make sure to use the code UAHannah100 using the link in my description below to get $100 off your next trip, even on top of sale. The best times to book, I would say, are summer Black Friday and the Black Friday sale. EF always seems to have a sale every month, but those are the two that you're going to see the most money off. And thank you again for all of your support. If you have any questions at all, my socials are below, and I hope to see you on an EF Ultimate Break trip soon.